Whisper Pines, Oregon, was the kind of mountain town people drove past but never entered. Tucked between endless pine forests and a fog-wrapped lake, the town felt frozen in time, quiet, cold, and strangely empty at all hours. For decades, travelers reported eerie lights drifting through the trees, voices echoing from the lake at night, and shadows walking across deserted roads. Locals never confirmed the stories. They didn't have to. Their silence said everything. 18-year-old Mason Reed, an aspiring documentary filmmaker, had been searching for the perfect subject to launch his YouTube channel. He wanted something real, something terrifying, something people would search for in the middle of the night when he heard rumors about Whisper Pines, its disappearances, its unexplainable sounds, and the fact that few outsiders stayed longer than a single night. Mason knew he'd found a story. He arrived on a cold October evening, fog hanging low like a living thing. The gas station attendant glanced nervously at Mason's camera before whispering, "Kid, don't film after midnight. The Pines don't like being watched." Mason thought it was just small-town superstition. He smiled, paid for his gas, and kept recording. The first night. His motel sat on the edge of the forest. Just a dozen rooms. All dark except one. The manager gave him room 6, slid the key toward him, and whispered, "If you hear knocking, don't open the door, even if it says your name." Mason chuckled nervously. "Is that a local joke?" The manager didn't laugh. "We don't joke here." That night, as Mason unpacked, he noticed something odd. The room had 2 doors, the main door and another one in the corner. The second door had no knob, just 4 deadbolts and a sign that read, "Do not unlock for any reason." He filmed it immediately. "This, guys," he said into the camera, "is exactly why Whisper Pines is perfect for this documentary." He went to bed around 1 a.m., but sleep didn't come. Something felt wrong. Heavy, like someone was watching from the corner. At 2:17 a.m., he heard it. Knock, knock, knock. Soft, careful. Coming from the bolted door. Mason sat up, breath caught in his throat. Then he heard it, his own name. "Mason, let me in, please." Every muscle in his body turned to ice. It was his mother's voice. The same tone she used when he'd cry as a child. But she lived hundreds of miles away. And the voice was coming from behind the sealed door. Mason whispered shakily, "Mom?" A pause. Then the voice shifted, cracking, warping. Mason opened the door. He grabbed his camera with trembling hands and whispered into the lens, "There's someone behind the door." Or something. "It knows my name." The knocking grew louder, faster. Then it stopped. The silence afterward was worse. 2. The woman at the lake. The next morning, exhausted, Mason interviewed locals. Most refused to speak on camera. Some begged him to leave town. One elderly man grabbed Mason's wrist and hissed, "The Pines feed at night. You can't film them." The only person willing to talk was a woman named Laura Benson, a quiet widow living near Lake Sable. She invited him into her living room, trembling slightly as she poured coffee. "You're not the first filmmaker to come here," she began. 5 years ago, a young man came, just like you. He wanted to expose Whisper Pines to the world. What happened to him? Mason asked. Laura's eyes filled with tears. They found his camera by the lake. That's all. She led him outside to the water's edge. The lake was still, unnaturally still, like glass. Fog drifted across the surface in long, cold ribbons. Pine trees stood like silent watchers all around. "This place wasn't always haunted," she said softly. "It started 30 years ago. People began hearing voices, seeing shapes in the fog. Then people went missing. Some came back, changed. Changed how?" Mason asked, adjusting his camera. They stopped being themselves. Their faces looked the same, but their eyes were wrong, like someone else was staring through them. Mason felt a shudder run through him. "Did they ever speak about what happened to them?" he asked. Laura nodded slowly. They all said the same thing, that something in the forest called to them, a voice that sounded like someone they loved. Mason felt his stomach twist. The knocking last night, the voice, the imitation of his mother. "What does the forest want?" he whispered. Laura's hands shook. Company. 3. Voices among the trees. That evening, Mason headed into the forest alone. His camera light cut a white path through the darkness, capturing twisted branches and layers of fog. Every few minutes, he heard things a microphone didn't.